So epicormic branches basically emanate from these dormant buds that exist along this stem. And basically, as soon as that bud receives enough light, it's initiated to send out a new shoot. And this epicormic branch, if left alone long enough, will grow into a relatively large branch. And as that branch size increases, the amount of defect that's caused on this tree, the amount of lost value that this branch can cause, increases with size. So we want to reduce the number of these epicormic branches found on these stems. So an additional concern, particularly with our white oaks, is again not opening up the crown too much or the canopy too much, and daylighting, what we call daylighting these stems. As soon as these stems start receiving a high amount of light, they start sending out epicormic branches. And basically what these epicormic branches are, for those of you that are interested in timber production, are defects in the wood. So you're going to yield less value as a timber species the more epicormic branches that you have emanating from these stems. If we back up, we can see in part that these epicormic branches aren't really all that plentiful until you get further up on that stem. Basically everything below the fork, the initial fork on this white oak stem, that's all epicormic branching. Some of that is being controlled for by all of these adjacent trees, but in some ways, this adjacent red maple is actually accounting for a reduced amount of epicormic branches growing on this stem. And when you're performing a crop tree release, that can be really beneficial. So we would call this a trainer tree, a tree that we deliberately retain, despite the fact that it's close to this crop tree. It's slow growing, the top of this red maple is already dying out. It's unlikely to really attain a large size, but that's perfect for us. What this tree is ultimately going to do after we perform our crop tree release is cast shade on this stem, and it's going to prevent any epicormic branches from emanating on the lower portion of this stem, which is ideal. The majority of our value in this stem is found in the first 8 to 16 feet, and the fewer epicormic branches that we have, the greater the overall value of the stem.